traditional footwear, I think one thing that everyone gets is a blister.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately the shoe irritating your Achilles. So this is like this kind of key unique aspect of the heel here.
Okay. I thought it was to slip on in this shoe.
It does help to slip on.
We always start with the athlete, and we always want to make sure that we want to improve the experience the athlete is having. So how can we make them faster? How can we make them run longer? And how can we make them enjoy the experience of sport? So it starts from there, and with the Ultra Boost, we started with the idea of energy. We wanted to create the most energized experience for the athlete, and that was really the main insight behind the shoe.
What we've got here is I would start with the foot. This is probably the most important thing. And when we started the Ultra Boost, we started with some really fundamental research. So we went back to the beginning, we looked at the barefoot, and we looked at the camera system, which we have in the background here, which can really look at how the foot changes shape. This gave us some insights, some basic insights, which we used into the brainstorming and then into the verification and ultimately into the design of the product. So I think the first one, for example, is that the foot expands. So you can see here, at this push-off phase, your foot wants to expand. That's natural. So that was one of the key insights.
So it makes sense then to have a flexible upper.
Yes. So the next step was, so we identified a couple of key things where we thought current footwear doesn't really address it in the way that it should. The expansion of the foot was a big problem. And the other thing is the Achilles. In your body, the most efficient way of storing energy is in your Achilles. So your Achilles is what gives you the energy to jump higher, to run faster, to sprint. What we wanted to do with the Ultra Boost is unleash the sort of full potential of your body. Okay. So that was allowing the foot to expand naturally, but really allowing the Achilles to work.
Boost feels amazing, so we wanted to actually put more boost underneath your foot. So with the new design, we have 20% more boost under the foot. So we then created this new rubber design that really works in harmony with the Boost capsule. So these are like hundreds of little rubber bands all contracting and expanding underneath the foot.
And a traditional shoe creates 1 or 2 big flex grooves, but they're not optimized for your foot or your foot. Sure. They're averaged for everyone. So what we felt is much, much better is to do the stretch web, because the stretch web basically adapts to different people. So if one person's foot is to flex a little bit further back, or another person is a little bit further forward, the stretch web basically, working with Boost, which is really, really flexible, it allows that stretch. Cool. So with EVA, it isn't as flexible. You have to really chop at it. You have to cut it and chop it to get it to flex. And with Boost, it really flexes naturally.
And that just feels completely new, and it sort of adapts to different ways you run and different foot strikes.
This one is more stiffer than this one.
Exactly. And at the time, we didn't know as much about how Boost was going to perform, but since the last 2 years, we've really brought in a lot of research and testing to see how we could improve everything around the shoe to work together.
It's 100% Boost.
Yes.
Why don't I have 100% Boost on my feet? It's just this one.
Boost was a huge leap forward for the whole industry, and for us it was also a learning aspect of it. When we did Energy Boost, it is a fantastic product, one of my favourite products I've ever run in, and we felt we'd made a huge leap, but we still had the opportunity to basically unlock more potential of Boost. It's a reach by a combination of everything on the shoe.
Okay.
So the cage, the heel counter, and the outsole.
What we did look at, though, is that we know that runners now expect so much from their running shoes. You know that they go with them throughout the day. So style is important, and we wanted to create a design that looks as good as it feels. So we spent a lot of time on creating, firstly, a silhouette that looks sleek and dynamic and full of energy. But second, we spent a lot of time in the materials and creating materials that are rich in texture and depth, and that are highly functional, but just when they come together, they look beautiful. We agonized over every line and every detail, even down to this logo here. And I don't know if you know the story of the logo, but we're inspired by, I mean, we're on the Autobahns here in Germany coming to work, and inspired by the BMW badge on the back of the cars.
Okay.
And we thought, oh, wouldn't it be great to have a logo this premium on the back of the shoe? So we couldn't do that in our own, where we're making the shoes. So we actually went to the guys that made the badges and said, hey, can you do that for us? Could you put it onto a shoe? And they said, well, we'll try. And so we did multiple trial runs, and we finally ended up looking at creating this badge that's done by the same guys that do the badges on the cars.
But how do you tell Uncle Herb that you need a new machine and a lot of money just to get the logo to look like this?
Well, of course we have to ask nicely, but with something like this is meant to showcase the best of what we can do. It's the best in a running experience, the best in design, the best in execution, the best in production. And for that, we had to really go outside our industry to look at all these other industries of what they're doing, what cutting edge machines and technologies do they have, and bring them back into this shoe.
This is the peak, it's reached.
Of course not. In the past, some people have pushed the boundaries on the design aspect at the expense of performance, and others push performance at the expense of design. I think Ben, the designer on this, has done an amazing job at being able to basically take all the insights and all the research that we've worked on in this lab and basically build an amazingly beautiful product.
Das war jetzt ganz schön viel Ultra Boost, viel Theorie, viel Praxis auch nochmal dann im Archiv, gerade eben mit Ben. Jetzt wollen wir natürlich das Ding auch noch testen, und da Hickman und ich wirklich nicht die laufbegeisterten Menschen unter der Sonne sind,
Also ich schon, er nicht.
haben wir eine kleine Challenge draus gemacht. Und zwar, damit wir tatsächlich zum Laufen gezwungen werden und einen Anreiz dazu haben, sind wir seit heute Morgen nicht mehr auf Toilette gewesen und haben jetzt jeder noch 1 Liter Wasser zu trinken. Und dann laufen wir los. Und wer dann am längsten läuft, hat gewonnen.
So, können wir jetzt loslegen? Ich muss schon.
Ich auch, das ist nämlich das Problem. Weil seit uns bewusst geworden ist, dass wir seit dem Frühstück nicht mehr waren, müssen wir. Wird super, alles da. Hickman, auf 3 geht's los.
Okay.
Und los.
Dass wir ein Mikro dran haben.
Das ist ein Laufschuh und kein Schleichschuh. Hey. Warte mal auf.
So, pinkel ich jetzt irgendwo in die Ecke?
Bitte? Keine Bäume, kein Klo. Ich beende mit dir jetzt ein faires Unentschieden. Komm, lass uns Richtung
Idee besser.
Urinlinie laufen. Oh Gott, ich muss so dringend. Oh, Alter. Oh Mann, ey. Bist du ein zäher Brocken, ey. Oh Mann. Oh.